My name is Julia Moore. I'm 31 years old, and right now I'm sitting alone in what was supposed to be my honeymoon suite, barefoot on cold hotel carpet with a warm minibar beer in my hand, and the remains of a $38,000 wedding collapsing somewhere downstairs behind ballroom doors. My veil is hanging off a lamp. My makeup is ruined. My phone hasn't stopped vibrating in 3 hours. And somehow, against all logic, my canceled wedding turned into the greatest family party anyone there had ever attended. I met my boyfriend Nathan Mercer 4 years ago at a mutual friend's barbecue. The kind of ordinary beginning people trust because nothing about it feels dangerous. He was smart, funny, charming in that calm, effortless way that makes everyone feel comfortable around them. Nathan remembered details. He listened when people talked. He made my grandmother laugh within 10 minutes of meeting her, which honestly should have qualified him for sainthood. We moved in together after a year. Got engaged after 2.5. And for a long time, I genuinely believed my life was stable. Not perfect. We fought about stupid things, dirty dishes, his spending habits, the fact that he treated schedules like vague suggestions instead of actual commitments. But every relationship has friction, right? Every couple argues. I thought we were solid. Looking back now, I think I ignored a lot because I loved the version of him I met at that barbecue. The version who brought me soup when I got sick. The version who left sticky notes in my purse before work that said things like, "You've got this, beautiful." The wedding planning changed everything, slowly enough that I didn't notice at first. Nathan wanted a big wedding. His mother wanted a royal coronation. Every conversation became about upgrades. The floral package wasn't elegant enough. The DJ wasn't enough, so suddenly we needed a live band and a DJ. The standard champagne somehow became embarrassing. Everything had to look expensive. And somehow, every upgrade landed on my credit card. I paid for almost 70% of the wedding because his parents kept promising they'd contribute soon. His father eventually sent over $5,000 and acted like he'd donated a kidney. Meanwhile, Nathan kept smiling and saying, "It's our special day, Julia. We only do this once." Funny sentence now. About 3 months before the wedding, he started making strange comments. Marriage is just paperwork. The government shouldn't define love. People put too much importance on legal labels. At first, I brushed it off. Wedding stress makes people weird. I figured he was overwhelmed. Then, 2 weeks before the wedding, he brought up a prenup. Not a real prenup. A document apparently drafted by his ex-girlfriend's insurance friend, Todd, a man who sold insurance policies from a tiny office next to a nail salon and somehow believed he understood property law. The document basically said that if Nathan and I divorced, he would have rights to my house. My house. The house I bought 2 years before I even met him. The house I put $60,000 down on by myself. I remember staring at him across the kitchen island, wondering if this was some kind of hidden camera prank. "You can't be serious." "It's just protection," he said casually. "For who?" "For both of us." "No," I said. "It protects you." He laughed nervously and dropped it after that. Or at least I thought he did. The wedding day arrived on a perfect Saturday afternoon. Warm breeze, blue skies, the kind of weather photographers dream about. 200 guests. My 84-year-old grandmother flew in despite hating airports. My cousin rearranged military leave to attend. The venue looked stunning. I'll give Nathan credit for that. The flowers were beautiful enough to make my chest hurt now when I think about them. 45 minutes before the ceremony, I was in the bridal suite adjusting my earrings when the wedding coordinator knocked softly on the door. Her face looked pale. "Nathan needs to talk to you privately." My stomach dropped immediately. I found him near the groom's lounge, wearing his tuxedo, looking polished and tense at the same time. Then he destroyed my life in less than a minute. "So," he said carefully, "I've been thinking, and I don't think we should sign the marriage license today." I honestly thought I misheard him. "What?" "I still want the ceremony, the vows, the reception, everything. I'm just not comfortable with the legal part right now." The room went completely silent. "You want a fake wedding?" "It's not fake," he said quickly. "It's a commitment ceremony. Lots of people do that." "Lots of people plan it that way from the beginning, Nathan. They don't tell the bride 45 minutes before the ceremony." He started talking faster, slipping into that calm, manipulative tone he always used when he wanted me to feel irrational. "Nobody has to know. The officiant can skip the paperwork part. We'll still exchange vows. Nothing changes." Nothing changes. I still hear that sentence replaying in my head. Everything changes. You let me spend $38,000 on a wedding you never intended to legally follow through on. You're making this about money. "No," I said quietly. "You made it about deception." Then came the irritation. "You're overreacting." And suddenly, something clicked into place inside me. He waited until the last possible second because he thought public pressure would trap me. He thought I'd be too embarrassed to cancel the wedding in front of 200 people. "You thought I'd just go along with it," I said. His silence answered for him. Then he cried. "God," he cried beautifully, "you're ruining the best day of my life." I looked at him for a long moment before answering. "You ruined it 45 minutes ago." Then I walked out. My maid of honor, Valerie, saw my face and immediately stood up. "How bad?" I told her everything. She blinked once, then said 2 words: "Burn it down." So I did. I walked straight into the ceremony area, alone in my wedding dress. No music, no processional, no smiling groom waiting at the altar. 200 people turned toward me in confusion. I picked up the microphone with hands that somehow didn't shake. "Hi everyone," I said. "Thank you all for being here. I love all of you very much. And I need to be honest. 45 minutes ago, Nathan informed me that he does not want to sign the marriage license today. He wants the ceremony and reception, but not the legal commitment. I will not stand here and perform a fake wedding or lie to the people I love. So the wedding is canceled." Complete silence. You could hear birds outside. Then my Uncle Raymond yelled from the back row, "So the open bar still happening or what?" The entire room cracked apart laughing. My mother looked one insult away from prison time. Nathan's mother came storming toward me, screaming about humiliation, but my father stepped directly in front of her. "Your son humiliated himself," he said coldly. Everything was already paid for. Venue, catering, DJ, open bar, all non-refundable. So I lifted the microphone one more time. "Well," I said, "the food is paid for, the bar is open, and apparently I'm suddenly single. So if anyone wants to stay and help me celebrate avoiding the worst mistake of my life, you're welcome to." About 150 people stayed. The DJ asked what song I wanted first. I told him, "Surprise me." That man immediately played "Thank You Next," and the ballroom exploded. If you had asked me that night whether things could possibly get worse, I probably would have laughed into my overpriced honeymoon suite beer and said no. Turns out humiliation has sequels. 5 days after the non-wedding, my life somehow became even more insane. At first, I tried to keep myself busy. I went back to work early because sitting alone in my house felt unbearable. Everywhere I looked, there were traces of Nathan. his coffee mugs, his jackets hanging near the door, 30 decorative pillows I never wanted but somehow lost arguments against. At night, the silence became dangerous. I'd catch myself remembering stupid little things. The way he used to kiss my forehead while passing through the kitchen. The documentary about elephants that made him cry. The notes he used to leave on my dashboard before work. And every time I softened for even a second, my brain replayed him saying, "Nobody has to know." That sentence cured me fast. 2 days after the canceled wedding, Valerie called me sounding furious. "Julia," she said, "you need to sit down." Apparently, one of Nathan's coworkers had quietly reached out to her after hearing what happened. That coworker sent screenshots from a private group chat Nathan had been using with several friends for weeks before the wedding. Weeks. My stomach dropped reading them. Nathan explained his entire plan in those messages like it was some clever financial strategy. He didn't want to legally marry me because, according to him, marriage created unnecessary risk. He specifically mentioned advice from Todd, the insurance clown who wrote the fake prenup, saying that if Nathan avoided legal marriage, he could still live in my home, benefit from my income, and avoid financial exposure if we ever split. One message said, "Best case scenario, honestly, married lifestyle without legal consequences." Another one said, "She owns the house already, so why would I tie myself legally?" But the message that actually broke me was this: "She won't cancel it. Julia hates public embarrassment. Once everyone's there, she'll just go along with it." I stared at that sentence for almost 10 minutes. He bet on me being weak. He counted on social pressure trapping me. And the worst part, 5 years ago, he probably would have been right. The entitlement got worse after that. 3 days after the wedding, Nathan's mother called my mother demanding reimbursement. Not joking. She wanted the $5,000 Nathan's father contributed returned immediately. She also demanded repayment for Nathan's tuxedo, the groomsmen expenses, and emotional damages. My mother, the kindest woman alive, finally snapped. She told her, "You can print your invoice and choke on it respectfully." I have never loved her more. Meanwhile, Nathan started texting me constantly. Not apologizing. Demanding. He wanted me to send him half the wedding costs because the reception benefited both of us. He claimed I publicly humiliated him and said I should pay for the therapy he now needed. One text actually said, "You could have just gone along with it and dealt with it privately later." That one made Valerie physically take my phone away before I threw it through a wall. I didn't respond to him once. My lawyer friend Eric told me to save everything and stay silent. Then the social media circus started. Nathan began posting vague victim posts online about being abandoned at the altar by someone afraid of commitment. He never named me directly, but everyone knew. Some of his friends ate it up immediately. One woman commented, "Strong women intimidate weak men." Another called me emotionally unstable. His cousin publicly called me selfish. For about 48 hours, I became the villain in a story Nathan carefully rewrote. Until Valerie got angry. See, Valerie had screenshots. And Valerie believes in consequences. She didn't publicly blast Nathan. That would have become chaos. Instead, whenever someone messaged her asking what really happened, she quietly sent the screenshots from the group chat. One by one. Private conversation after private conversation. And suddenly, the narrative flipped. Fast. People started deleting comments. 2 of Nathan's friends apologized to me directly. One of his groomsmen admitted Nathan told everyone I already agreed to the commitment ceremony months ago. He lied to his own wedding party. That explained why nobody on his side seemed confused the morning of the wedding. They thought I knew. They thought this was mutual. Then came the financial fraud. And this is where things stopped being pathetic and started becoming terrifying. Nathan still had access to our wedding planning spreadsheet. It included vendor contacts, invoices, payment confirmations, all of it. 3 vendors contacted me within one afternoon asking questions about refund requests. My blood ran cold immediately. Nathan had apparently called them, pretending to handle post-wedding logistics, and tried redirecting refunds into his personal account. The florist actually processed an $1,800 refund before realizing something was wrong. The caterer caught it and called me first, which exposed everything. I remember sitting at my kitchen counter, gripping my phone so hard my fingers hurt, while the florist apologized over and over. "I'm so sorry, Ms. Moore. We thought he was authorized." Eric went from friend helping casually to full lawyer mode instantly. He sent Nathan a cease and desist letter that same day. Nathan responded by having his father call Eric, screaming about fairness and emotional distress. Eric calmly replied, "Your son attempted financial fraud. I'd advise him to stop immediately." Apparently, Nathan hung up after that. The house became unbearable after all this. Every room felt haunted. His hoodie still hung behind the bedroom door. His cereal was still in the pantry. One of his stupid protein shakes was still in my refrigerator. I hated how grief worked. One minute, I was furious. The next minute, I was remembering him asleep on the couch with our dog curled against his chest. I started realizing something horrifying. I wasn't grieving the man who betrayed me. I was grieving the version of him I invented because I loved him. Saturday was scheduled for him to pick up his things. I told him very clearly through text, "You may collect your belongings between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Valerie and Eric will be present. There will be no private conversation." His response came immediately. "You're being cold." No. I was finally being careful. And deep down, I already knew Saturday wasn't going to end quietly. Saturday morning felt less like an ex picking up belongings and more like preparing for a courtroom ambush. Valerie arrived early with coffee and pure protective energy. Eric showed up right after her, already irritated before Nathan even got there. We had packed all his things neatly into boxes and lined them across the garage. Clothes, shoes, electronics, even the ugly coffee machine he insisted was professional grade. Nathan arrived almost 2 hours late. And he brought reinforcements. His mother stepped out first, looking furious, followed by his younger sister Emily, who seemed confused and uncomfortable. Then Todd climbed out of the car behind them, wearing khakis and a tucked polo shirt, like he was arriving for a business seminar instead of emotional destruction. Valerie whispered, "Oh, this is embarrassing." I stayed calm. "Everything's boxed. Take it and go." Nathan's mother immediately started yelling about humiliation and respect. Then Todd stepped forward, talking about shared assets and cohabitation rights, like he'd graduated from fake lawyer school overnight. Eric cut him off instantly. "Are you an attorney?" Todd froze. "No." "Then stop giving legal advice." That shut him up fast. Nathan finally looked at me. "Can we talk privately for 5 minutes?" "No." "Julia, please. You tried stealing refund money from my vendors." Emily's head snapped toward him. "You did what?" Silence. Nathan went pale immediately. Apparently, his sister didn't know about the florist refund or the fake refund attempts. Neither did his mother. Everything started unraveling right there in my garage. Emily looked horrified. "You told everyone she abandoned you because she got scared." Nathan didn't answer. Because he couldn't. The boxes got loaded in total silence after that. Before leaving, Nathan tried one more time. "Julia, please." Valerie stepped between us, holding her iced coffee like a weapon. She said no. And that was it. Or, at least, I thought it was. Monday morning, my mortgage company called me at work. Someone claiming to be my spouse had contacted them, asking how to add another name to my house deed. My stomach dropped instantly. Nathan had tried using a marriage that never legally existed to access my property. That was the moment everything stopped feeling messy and started feeling dangerous. Eric told me to file a police report immediately. I brought screenshots, refund records, and documentation from the mortgage company. The officer reviewing everything looked at me and said, "You didn't dodge a bullet." He tapped the paperwork. "You dodged a grenade." After that, things finally started quieting down. The florist refund got reversed. Eric sent another legal warning. Nathan stopped contacting me. Then one night, his father called. Not Nathan. His father. The exhausted man who always looked emotionally defeated during our relationship. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I should have stopped this before it reached the wedding." He admitted Nathan's mother enabled this behavior for years because confronting it was easier than fighting him. Then he said something I still think about. "You canceling that wedding was probably the first time anyone in this family ever told him no." After the call ended, I found one of Nathan's old sticky notes behind my nightstand. "You're my favorite person." I stared at it for a long time. Then I threw it away. I lost money. I lost the future I thought I had. I lost someone I loved. But I didn't lose myself. And honestly, that's worth more than any wedding could have been.